early 1995 when the 49ers completely obliterated the then San Diego Chargers. That's the last time the 49ers won it, and now they are going to try to get back there with a new starting quarterback. Here's Trey Lance. In the aftermath of the news that Jimmy G era is over, Trey Lance is the guy. Here's Lance talking about his new role in San Francisco.
Honestly, the only difference is I was hoping you guys would stop asking about it all the time. But nah, for me, it wasn't really like a moment or anything like that. I mean, I've been excited. I've been prepared. I thought, preparing to play since the day I got here, the day I got drafted. So I'm obviously excited for this year. But like you said, nothing's really changed this whole offseason.
I know he kind of said it tongue-in-cheek, but it's always our fault, isn't it? We're asking the questions that the fans want answers to, and we're the buttholes. We're the buttholes for asking the questions that are obvious. The 49ers go out and invest 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick in a new contract when they have Jimmy Garoppolo, who took them to a Super Bowl and almost won it, and we're jerks for being curious about who's going to be the starter and when. Obviously, little things like that rub me the wrong way, Myles.
Yeah, I see. That's okay. I mean,
it's like Tua. It's like Tua saying he doesn't listen to the noise, but he's aware of it. If you don't listen to it, then you shouldn't even know about it. If you truly don't pay attention to it.
They're all liars. Of course they pay attention to it. I mean, I know they pay attention to it. I once saw a tight end on the Rams, go like this at practice because a reporter had said they had alligator arms at one point during the last game when they dropped the pass. Like, they all know, so I'm just saying, whether it's they're reading it or somebody is sending it to them, whatever, they know what is generally being said about them, whether it's positive or negative. That's just the landscape that we all live in today.
I think they try to act like they don't because they don't want us to realize the influence and power that our words and our opinions truly do have over them, because they do become aware of them and they do provide motivation, and coaches will make them aware of it because they want to press the buttons on these guys to get them to play better. So we won't know until Trey Lance is playing on a regular basis whether he will be better than Jimmy Garoppolo. My big concern, if I'm a 49ers fan, is durability. They fell out of love with Jimmy G because he can't stay healthy. Well, in the limited time Trey Lance played last year, what happened? Knee injury against the Cardinals, finger injury against the Texans. Can he stay healthy? And that would be the ultimate irony. I said this yesterday, and I don't want to put any type of a jinx on Trey Lance. But as they're sitting around waiting for a quarterback to suffer a season-ending injury, so there's a market all of a sudden for Jimmy G, there's a chance that injury is going to happen to the guy who is replacing Jimmy G, and they may need Jimmy G. The injury they're waiting for may happen on their own team. So, again, I've crossed the line into full-blown jinx mode by saying that, but we don't know what's going to happen. And I assume they would want to keep Jimmy G. And it may be he's gone by the time they get to the point where they need an injury replacement. But that's a big question. Will he be durable? He played at North Dakota State. Sims made the point yesterday. The last guy from North Dakota State who was a top draft pick, Carson Wentz, at the quarterback position, he had durability issues too. You're not going through the SEC or the Big Ten. You're not even at the FBS level. So you're getting hit by bigger and stronger and faster guys. Your body may not hold up. Sims made another great point. He was a safety. He was recruited as a safety. He played safety, and he's got that safety mentality. So his own safety, pun intended, goes out the window when it's time for him to avoid contact. That's another thing he's going to have to learn. They're going to have to keep the guy healthy. Then they weren't able to do it with Jimmy G, and that's going to be a real question.
I mean, Garoppolo had to learn that too, right? I mean, that week 3 game against Kansas City in 2018, where he bowls into a defender unnecessarily. That's one of the reasons, why we now have Trey Lance, because Jimmy Garoppolo was not healthy for that 2018 season. So yeah, I think that throughout the offseason, it's been pretty clear that the 49ers wanted to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo to Trey Lance. I mean, I was at the owners meeting down there in Palm Beach in March and listening to Kyle Shanahan talk. It was pretty clear to me, at least, that they had moved on, at least in their minds, from Jimmy Garoppolo to Trey Lance. So I feel like now that it's like, Shanahan's come out and said, like, yeah, it's Trey's team. We would have seen Jimmy Garoppolo moved a long time ago if he hadn't had the shoulder surgery, but he did. So, the Colts weren't an option for him, right? Because they wanted somebody who was going to be healthy throughout the offseason program. With Lance, it's like I give them the benefit of the doubt because I guess I just have that kind of belief that Kyle Shanahan can do pretty much anything with QB. I saw him make Brian Hoyer a viable quarterback in Cleveland. Like, that was crazy. And then they made Johnny Manziel come in there, and then the 2014 Browns were drilled. But anyway, I think that they're going to be all right as long as Trey Lance can stay healthy. And, who knows? We may be in a Patrick Mahomes situation where it's like, okay, like, what are they really doing? Why are they replacing Alex Smith? But then you see this guy and you're like, holy crap. I don't necessarily know that we're going to see that, but I think that Lance is going to be okay.
Yeah, with Mahomes, there was enough in the 2017 preseason and enough gushing, legitimate gushing, not just predictable stuff about Mahomes in practice in 2017 that I think a lot of us were ready for what was coming with Lance. We didn't see enough last year.
And the finale against Denver. The finale against Denver that he played in 17 as well. Like that, you got to see a little bit of it. Yeah.
Trey Lance had a big throw in the preseason last year. I think it was a busted coverage or something like that, but still we've seen a little bit, but we still need to see a lot more, and so do the 49ers. And credit to them for abandoning this ruse of maybe we'll keep both guys, the thing that Jed York was trying to sell for the past 2 years. And remember, it was earlier this year, Steve Young sat on the bench for 4 years, yada, yada. It's time to move on to Trey Lance. That's why they traded up, and that's why they have him. And Jimmy Garoppolo is going along with this plan that he's just going to hang around, come and go as he pleases, wait for an opportunity to be traded somewhere. Trey Lance talked yesterday as well on his relationship with the former starting quarterback of the 49ers.
Yeah, I said what's up to Jimmy yesterday. He was in here on Tuesday for his physical. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's nothing weird at all. Like I said, I've never had anything I could possibly say that's bad about Jimmy. I mean, he's been a big bro to me since the day I came in. He could have made things hell for me, honestly, last year. He didn't. He helped me out with everything. So I'm super excited to see him healthy, super excited to see him throwing again, and super excited to see what he does.
It really is strange. They're basically keeping him away from the team, and he's okay with it. If he wanted to force the issue, he could. But I think he's realized that for now, his interests are aligned with the 49ers, because if there is that quarterback gone for the year, not only do the 49ers get a good trade recovery, he gets something closer to his $25 million if there's a team that's all of a sudden desperate for a starting quarterback. But at some point, he's going to want out. And maybe as soon as that last preseason game is played, that's when he says, I want out. Don't hold me up until the absolute last minute before my salary becomes fully guaranteed because I'm on the roster as of week 1. I think when the cuts, at the latest, when the cut to 53 happens, that's when he's going to be gone.
Yeah, it's interesting too, Mike. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo is not, he's not one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, right? I mean, like, I think if I'm being like at worst, he's a top 20 QB. I would probably put him in the top half of quarterbacks out there. I mean, he's been to the NFC Championship game in 2 of the last 3 seasons, at least, right? And they went to the Super Bowl, obviously, in 19. So it's not like he's terrible. There are teams out there who would absolutely be upgrading if they got themselves Jimmy Garoppolo, but it's also that right now you can be like, well, do we really want to do that and put ourselves in that contractual situation when we have somebody that could start? And if we're not that good, then maybe we get a better draft pick. But if we get Jimmy Garoppolo, then we're going to be better. And maybe we're not going to be in the sweepstakes for, a quarterback like a CJ Stroud who's coming out, in next year's draft. So it's a weird situation, and I guess we're going to kind of wait for that injury. But like, I don't know. Like, do the Texans want to go in there with Davis Mills? I understand why they would. The Falcons really want to roll with Marcus Mariota. Well, you got Desmond Ridder behind them, so I understand why they would. It's weird.
We haven't heard anything in the past few days about teams trying to get Jimmy Garoppolo. what occurred on Tuesday, I think, sends the message to anyone out there who had been waiting, who had been reluctant to offer anything significant. Just make us an offer. Just make us an offer. Now's your opportunity. And it's a combination of getting a deal with the 49ers and a deal with Garoppolo, because no one's taking on a $25 million total compensation commitment. But there's been nothing, no talk. And remember when Deshaun Watson gets the no indictment in that Friday in March, immediately we started the breathless reporting about this team's interested and that team's interested and that team's interested. I mean, there has been nothing. There hasn't been a single team linked seriously to Jimmy Garoppolo at any point in this offseason. That, to me, is stunning. Yeah, we've the report that the Seahawks talked about it. We talk about a lot of things. I just wonder whether there's no one out there that feels any compulsion whatsoever to try to trade for the last year of his contract, and they've all just sat back and said, we're content to wait for him to be cut, and then we'll see if we can work out a deal. And if we can, great, and if we can't, great. But somebody's going to end up with a guy who can be a pretty good quarterback. I mean, top 20 is still better than 12. There's still other guys out there that are worse than you, which would say if he's a top 20 quarterback, there should be at least 10 teams that are looking at this saying, hey, maybe this guy is better than who we have. I keep coming back to Miami. I've been reluctant to write this because I really don't want to deal with Tuanon, but I think he's better from what we've seen, body of work. He's better right now than Tua. And, look at this. He knows the offense that former 49ers assistant Mike McDaniel has brought to Miami.
I think that's a good argument, but I don't think that they would want to do it because you want to see how Tua can do in that offense and figure out, if you want to move on to Tom Brady next year. So I don't know. I like that. That's one of those teams where I'm like, yeah, I see why they would do it, but I also see why they wouldn't do it. I mean, you still did invest a first round pick in that guy. And Mike McDaniel has been very, effusive in his praise of Tua Tagovailoa. Oh my God, what would Tyreek Hill do if you replace the most accurate quarterback in the NFL with Jimmy Garoppolo, who Tyreek Hill couldn't hit Emmanuel Sanders down there on a post route. So in the Super Bowl. So I mean, I don't know what would they do then?
Well, I look, if Garoppolo had delivered the way that he could have and should have, he would still be the guy. And they would have had a hell of a mess if Garoppolo had made it to the Super Bowl last year. Then they'd have been stuck with him for another year. And now we see where Garoppolo, I'm rooting for the guy. Just because I believe you mentioned the Sanders pass, he could have won a Super Bowl and didn't, just like Jared Goff, if he would have seen Brandon Cooks sooner than he did, and he should have seen him because they ran the same damn play in the first half. I'm telling you, they ran the same play. Oh, boy, this is like pulling up the Hail Mary from 1975. But look, he's open. Now, he wasn't wide open. It wasn't like Super Bowl III when was it Roger Orr? They ran the trick play and Earl Morrall just didn't see him. I mean, he wasn't running completely uncovered, but the throw was there to be made. And I think Tom Brady would have made that throw, frankly. So anyway, that may have been the moment where they decided at some point they're going to have to make a change. And then they had the ankle injury week 2 of the 2019 season. They just decided between the durability and the ceiling, we got to move on. But it doesn't mean there's no place for him. We'll see. Yeah. But it is so odd to me that there's been nothing because there's an agenda for Jimmy G or the 49ers. If there's any interest at all, you want it out there to try to get somebody else interested. We see it all the time. You want everybody to come to the table. Hey, we got this team interested. Hey, we got that team interested. Hey, even if you don't name them, 4 teams are interested in Jimmy Garoppolo. There's usually a report like that. There has been nothing. It is weird, Miles.
Yeah, no, it totally is. I mean, if you were to put some money down today, right? Where would you say that he ends up?
I still feel like he's going to end up with the Texans. I think Nick Caserio is sitting back, head low, mouth shut. He drafted the guy. Now, do they really? I mean, look, I know Davis Mills was better than they expected last year. The question is, do they really want to explore what his ceiling is, or do they want to try to win 9 or 10 games this year? I don't know. And the other
That's
possibility,
generous.
somebody said, I don't know if it was Sims or who, that the Cowboys would be just a place where I can go and be the backup behind a quarterback who possibly will get injured, and then I could play. And if I get to play some, then I become a free agent next year and I go somewhere else and have a chance to be a starter until the team that signs me drafts a first rounder. I mean, that's the Mitch Trubisky model. He disappeared as a backup for all of 2021, and he ends up being the starter in Pittsburgh until they draft Kenny Pickett. And now who the hell knows what's going to happen? And that would put Jimmy G right back in the spot that he was in last year, where he's the starter, but they've drafted a guy in round 1, so who knows what's going on.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.